and just talking, using sounds that I could relate to as a disaffected youth. You know, I sort of dressed as a punk, but I listened to Throbbing Gristle and I listened to Pere Ubu. I sort of had a sort of slight thing on the Residents, you know. But Throbbing Gristle was totally the one that really hit home for me. And from then on, you know, I vowed to follow a similar course, and I connected it with William Burroughs, and I connected it with sort of Kurt Schwitters and Marcel Duchamp and all the books, the few small books in the library at school. And I saw a connection between these things, that it was an art phenomena, but it was an art that you lived rather than that their life was art and art was life. There wasn't a difference, and that really struck me very strongly and still does now, and this is what I hope we are doing now. You know, and I feel we have a sort of mission to continue the work that people like William Burroughs and the original Surrealists did, you know, and William acknowledged this. He said, you know, that of all the people who've come to him to sort of have the William Burroughs tag or tattoo put on them, that we are the purest, you know, continuation of the current that he started with Brian Gysin and Ian Somerville and that lot, you know. It's precise research on a psychoactive level and a psychic level and a magical level. Same way as we're trying to do with the legacy of William Burroughs and his ideas to do with the cut-up and the electronic revolution and, you know, the actual theories behind what he did rather than actually, you know, the texts and the fact that he was a gentleman junkie and stuff.
It's the
spiritual and magical aspect of his work that we want to continue in music. What is magic in our life? It's all pervasive. Everything we do in our life is magic. I made this decision, or it was made for me, at the age of 11. I think either one is like magically inclined and sees the universe as a magical place, the magical universe, which is William Burroughs had a phrase called the magical universe, and I strongly think there's people who can understand this and work with it and live with it, and there are people who do not. And it's not enemies or opposition, it's just two ways of looking at the world. Coincidences are not coincidences, accidents are not accidents, and we can influence and control at a distance. We practice magic every day in our life, with rituals, sometimes sexual rituals, sometimes rituals where I will project my will into an object or an image and use that, or particularly with Coil, we project the magic into the music. So it's his magical music, and I won't have anyone say anything else except that we do magical music. This is very deliberate, and we are stating it very deliberately, and it is against non-magical music, which is the majority.
Do you feel freer?
Much freer, yes, yeah, it's exciting. I think, you know, I have addictions and I have fears and I have, you know, constraints in my thinking, and the point of being a magician in life is to break those, to explore and explode these set ideas that I have, you know, from my parents, from my very weak given religion, from my peer group, you know, this industrial music thing. We don't fit with that. We are something else, and by going out into the world, we find out what it is that we are, and we define it, and hopefully, in the way that teachers have taught us, like Brian Gysin, the artist, as a teacher, William Burroughs as a teacher, John Giorno as a teacher, various Buddhist teachers and friends, and so on. I point to those particularly because they influenced me early on. We have a duty to pass on what they taught us, they actually recognised us as being the purest form of what they were doing. Especially William Burroughs, he said we are the purest form of what he was experimenting with in Paris in the 50s. That you know, that we have been passed on the legacy, and it's a duty. We feel duty bound to do what we are doing now. But it's a pleasure also. If it wasn't a pleasure, we wouldn't do it.